Good afternoon. My name is Tarrick McGuire, T-A-R-R-I-C-K, McGuire. I'm the Chief of Police here in Alexandria, Virginia. I want to acknowledge the enormity of this moment. I want to acknowledge how many people are impacted by sexual violence. Many of us, including me, know someone that is a survivor of these horrific acts. I want to acknowledge how many people carry the weight of sexual violence throughout their lives, who grapple with the decision to tell or not to tell, who muster the courage to get medical support and report these type of events to the police, who find the strength to get the emotional and social support they need to find a path toward healing. This is not something we take lightly today. This has been a collaborative effort throughout the region. And with me today are Virginia Commonwealth Attorney Brian Porter, Prince George's County State Attorney Tara Jackson, and Deputy Chief Todd Lightner of the Prince George's County Police Department. Before I take any other comments or state anything else, I would like to turn it over to Brian Porter, our Commonwealth Attorney.
Thank you, Chief. My name is Brian Porter. It's B-R-Y-A-N, and the last name is P-O-R-T-E-R, and I'm the Commonwealth's Attorney for the City of Alexandria. In 2025, the Alexandria Police Department began to investigate the defendant, Timothy Valentin, and that is spelled V-A-L-E-N-T-I-N, a 30-year-old resident of Prince George's County, Maryland, is the suspect in a sexual assault case. APD detectives worked closely with prosecutors in my office, and after a lengthy investigation, the defendant was subsequently indicted by an Alexandria grand jury on December 8, 2025. On December 11, 2025, the defendant was arrested and formally charged with 5 felony offenses alleged to have occurred in April of 2025. Rape by force, rape by physical incapacity or helplessness, forcible sodomy, adulteration of a beverage, and abduction with the intent to defile. During that arrest, detectives recovered the defendant's cell phone. They obtained a search warrant and conducted a forensic examination of the contents of the phone. And that search of the phone revealed a significant amount of evidence that revealed the defendant may have engaged in numerous sexual assault offenses in both Maryland and Virginia. APD detectives continue to coordinate with my office and liaise with the Prince George's County, Maryland Police Department and the Prince George's County, Maryland State's Attorney's Office. As a result of the ongoing investigation, this morning, a superseding indictment was returned by the Alexandria grand jury, charging the defendant with a host of new offenses related to 3 additional cases. Given the rules of professional responsibility, I cannot detail the evidence, but the defendant's alleged method of operation was to meet women on dating websites, arrange to meet them in person, and then sexually assault them. In the first of the cases returned in the superseding indictment this morning, the defendant was charged with a number of offenses related to 2 separate allegations of sexual assault against the same survivor. The first allegedly occurring between March 7th and 8th, 2025, and the second allegedly occurring on March 10th, 2025. With regard to these incidents, the defendant was charged with a total of 9 felony offenses, alleging 2 separate rapes, 2 counts of forcible sodomy, 1 count of aggravated sexual battery, and 2 counts of object sexual penetration. With regard to the 2 separate rape allegations, the defendant was charged with 2 counts of rape alleging different methods of accomplishing the offense, 1 count alleging rape by force, the other alleging rape by physical incapacity or helplessness, for a total of 4 counts of rape relating to 2 separate alleged incidents. The defendant was also charged with 15 counts of unlawful filming or videotaping of another. In the second of the cases alleged in the superseding indictment, the defendant was charged with a number of offenses related to an allegation of sexual assault, allegedly occurring between March 28th and March 29th, 2025. With regard to this case, the defendant was charged with a total of 4 felony offenses: rape by force, rape by physical incapacity or helplessness, adulteration of a beverage, and abduction with the intent to defile. In the third of the cases alleged in the superseding indictment, the defendant was charged with a number of offenses related to an allegation of sexual assault allegedly occurring between November 10th and 11th, 2025. With regard to this case, the defendant was charged with a total of 4 felony offenses: rape by force, rape by physical incapacity or helplessness, adulteration of a beverage, and abduction with the intent to defile. Of note, the defendant previously served as a sworn police officer, but as of today's date, no evidence has been obtained indicating that the defendant committed any offense while so employed. The maximum penalty for each count of rape is life in prison. The maximum penalty for each count of forcible sodomy is life in prison. The maximum penalty for object sexual penetration is life in prison. The maximum penalty for each count of abduction with the intent to defile is life in prison. The maximum penalty for each count of adulterating a beverage is 20 years of incarceration under the Code of Virginia. Unlawful filming or videotaping of another is a Class 1 misdemeanor, meaning that the maximum penalty for each count of that offense is 12 months in jail. The defendant has been incarcerated at the Alexandria Adult Detention Center since his arrest on December 11th, 2025. The original case, indicted on December 8th, 2025, is currently set for a jury trial in Alexandria Circuit Court, with that trial currently scheduled to go from August 3rd, 2026 to August 7th, 2026. The superseding indictments returned by the grand jury today have not yet been set for trial. The investigation into the defendant's actions remains open and additional charges may be lodged in the future. Any person with relevant information or additional evidence related to this matter is encouraged to contact police investigators, and other members of the people assembled here will explain how to do so in a moment. I would like to commend the professionalism shown by the partner agencies investigating this matter, to include the Alexandria Police Department, the Prince George's County, Maryland Police Department, and the Prince George's County, Maryland State's Attorney's Office. While the arrest has been made, the hard work of securing a conviction is just beginning. As I have repeatedly noted during my comments, charged offenses are at this stage merely allegations. Any citizen charged with a criminal offense is presumed to be innocent, and that presumption of innocence remains in place until and unless the Commonwealth bears its burden and proves every single element of every single charged offense before a judge or jury of competent jurisdiction. The Commonwealth bears the highest burden extant under our legal system and must prove its case beyond a reasonable doubt. And finally, I note that the fact that a citizen has been indicted by a grand jury is not evidence that he committed any criminal offense and should not be deemed as such. A public prosecutor must be circumspect with regard to public comments about a pending criminal case, and my office intends to litigate the case inside of the courtroom. Rule 3.6 of the Virginia State Bar's Rules of Professional Conduct for Attorneys states in pertinent part that a lawyer participating or associated with the prosecution of a criminal case that may be tried to a jury shall not make or participate in making an extrajudicial statement that the lawyer knows or should reasonably know might have a substantial likelihood of interfering with the fairness of a trial by jury. Therefore, the Commonwealth is prohibited from discussing the evidence, its trial strategy, or its work product until the trial of the matter is completed. Press inquiries seeking such information are discouraged, and I am not in a position to take any questions about this today. At this moment, I'll hand it back over to Chief McGuire for some additional information.
Thank you, Brian. While these allegations are awaiting trial, the burden of proof for police departments is rooted in probable cause, and I would like to share some of the facts that we know to the continuation of offenses as it relates to the Commonwealth of Virginia. In spring of 2025, a sexual assault survivor came forward to report a sexual assault to the DC Metropolitan Police Department. During the course of the investigation, DC detectives determined that the assault originated here in Alexandria. In August, the matter was formally turned over to the Alexandria Police Department Criminal Investigations Division. From there, detectives worked in collaboration with the sexual assault response team to prioritize the well-being of the survivor and to maintain their integrity. Detectives later executed search warrants, reviewed hours of digital media evidence, and conducted forensic analysis, and identified the suspect, as previously noted, as 30-year-old Timothy Valentin, a resident of Fort Washington, Maryland. Through the course of this investigation, detectives learned that Valentin met women through online dating platforms, taking them on a date where it was believed he could have added substance to their beverages that they were drinking, later sexually assaulting them. Alexandria detectives later sent this matter to the Commonwealth Attorney for prosecutorial evaluation. In early of December, as Commonwealth Attorney Porter noted, Valentin was indicted on charges and a felony warrant was executed identifying him as a wanted person. On December the 11th, a BOLO, Be on the Lookout, was issued by the Alexandria Police Department. His information was entered in national law enforcement databases. Hours later, our APD patrol officer received an alert from a license plate reader indicating that his vehicle was traveling through our city. Alexandria officers then conducted a vehicle stop based on that hit and took him into custody. He has been in the Alexandria jail since December of 2025 and later was denied bond. Valentin, as noted, is a former police officer with the DC Metropolitan Police Department and separated from that agency in 2022. As detectives continued to develop evidence, they then notified additional agencies throughout the region and followed the case where it led. These cases underscore that sexual violence is a deep violation of a person's human rights. It takes away the choice, safety, and autonomy that every person deserves and that we believe that is given to us by our Creator. I want to take a moment to reiterate and tell each survivor, those who will come forward, your voice matters. Our approach to every case is to take a victim-centered approach, and in that commitment, we will listen, we will take every report seriously, and we will pursue accountability and justice to the fullest extent of the law. We see you, we hear you, and we will seek justice on your behalf. To the public, if you have had any contact with Timothy Valentin, if you were on a date with him, if you believe that you have been assaulted by him, or if you have relevant information concerning these cases, please call our general tip line at 703-746-6911. I repeat that number, 703-746-6911, to leave a message, or if you don't feel comfortable leaving a message, you can send an email at tips@alexandriava.gov. His photo is shown here, and I want to stress that you may have known him by another name. Confidential support and advocacy for resources are here for you, and please contact our Sexual Assault Center if you need that additional support at 703-683-7273 for help. We will make this publicly available. Again, these cases reflect the strength of regional collaboration, not only between APD, but our neighboring Prince George's County Police Department and the Metropolitan Police Department. Now we'll turn it over to Prince George's County's Office of the State Attorney, Ms. Tarrick Jackson.
Good afternoon. I am Tara Jackson, and I serve as the State's Attorney in Prince George's County, Maryland. Before I begin, I would like to acknowledge and thank Chief McGuire and the City of Alexandria Police Department, as well as Commonwealth's Attorney Brian Porter, for inviting me here today. And I too want to underscore the importance of regional collaboration, not only in this instance, but really on a day-to-day basis across the DMV region. I'd like to acknowledge as well my partners in the Prince George's County Police Department, as well as other local law enforcement partners that have assisted us in this matter. I want to start by saying that this is an active and ongoing investigation in Prince George's County. Therefore, as the state's attorney, I am limited as well in the information that I can provide as it relates to Timothy Valentin. I will not be answering questions as well today. But what I can say is that the Prince George's County Police Department found probable cause to charge Mr. Valentin with rape and related offenses in multiple cases in Prince George's County. And those charges arise from incidents that occurred in 2024 and 2025. My office will continue to undergo a thorough investigation and review of the charges and the evidence, and then make a determination as to whether or not we will ask the grand jury to indict. And certainly if the grand jury indicts, then a trial would then follow, where we would have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt the charges that are lodged against Mr. Valentin. For anyone who may have experienced similar conduct, as you've heard before, with this individual, but especially in Prince George's County, anybody who may have information related to these cases, we encourage you to contact the police department. And I'll give you that number. You've already received a number from Alexandria, but in Prince George's, 1-866-411-TIPS. 1-866-411-TIPS. We do want you to know that your voice matters and you will be heard. These allegations are extremely serious and involve conduct that causes profound harm to victims and communities. Sexual assault, as you've heard before from the Commonwealth's attorney, is violent and personal crime that profoundly impacts victims and oftentimes results in long-term emotional and physical effects. And we in the state's attorney's office, as well I know in the police department, will always treat victims with the utmost seriousness as we discuss these cases. I've been a sexual assault prosecutor before, and I understand that coming forward and following through on the prosecution of this type of case is not easy for victims. But again, please know that we will treat you with dignity and respect, and that, as you've heard before, our approach is centered on supporting victims. It's important to remind our residents before I step to the side that anyone who is charged with a crime is entitled to due process through our judicial system, and my job as the state's attorney is to ensure that there is a fair and transparent process. Again, Prince George's County is at the charging stage, and the charges that have been lodged are similar in nature to the charges that you've heard described by the Chief of Alexandria Police Department. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Todd Leitner, L-I-G-H-T-N-E-R, Deputy Chief for the Prince George's County Police Department. I want to thank Chief McGuire and Alexandria Police Department for hosting us today, allowing us to speak, and for their partnership in this investigation. In late January 2026, Alexandria Police Department contacted Prince George's County Police Department Special Crime Division Sexual Assault Unit regarding Mr. Valentin. Alexandria Police Department's investigation had identified potential cases in Prince George's County. We immediately launched an extensive investigation, which has now resulted in charges against Valentin in connection with 6 survivors in our county. The survivors are all adults. The crimes took place in various locations in Prince George's County between 2024 and 2025. The preliminary investigation revealed the suspect met the women he targeted on dating apps or in person. During a date, the survivor would consume alcohol, and once incapacitated, the suspect would sexually assault her. Our detectives stand ready to speak to any additional survivors or witnesses in these cases that may have been assaulted by Valentin or have information relevant to our active investigation. In addition to Alexandria's tip line, you can call our sexual assault unit in Prince George's County at 301-772-4908. You can also remain anonymous if you choose to do so. If you're not comfortable coming forward, we understand this is difficult for survivors and for witnesses. And as Ms. Jackson said, the number to do that is 1-866-411-TIPS, T-I-P-S. Thank you.
Now, before we close and take questions, it's so important to acknowledge not only those survivors that were brave to come forward, but the amount of investigative work that it has taken, forensic interviews that it has taken, and the support that it has taken for us to get here. Our departments all have a badge and a patch, but we collaboratively work together in this region. And so, again, I want you to be mindful that there are victims that are going through this process now. There are victims that will possibly come forward after this, so we will be very limited in discussing any specific details, but we will answer as much as we can as possible. So now we'll open it up for questions. Start with you, Julie.
Chief, on his cell phone, Alexandria detectives have found dozens of videos of women. How many women do you think you are trying to identify, and how many of them have been located so far?
So I think Ryan Porter talked this morning about the 4 cases that have been indicted here in Alexandria. I will tell you that, again, we want to be respectful to those victims, but there has been a significant amount of digital media that our investigators have looked at, and they are continuing through collaboration to work with other partner agencies. And so I don't want to minimize it to a number or statistic, but I will tell you that they're still combing through that evidence, they're still working through this investigation, and by us just acknowledging and working through this today, that we're prepared to speak with others that may have been violated.
Chief, to be specific, how many victims have come forward in Alexandria?
I'm not going to give that information at this time.
And when did he become employed with MPD?
I don't know his exact employment date, but as stated earlier, his employment ended in 2022, and that's the information that we have from them regarding his personality record. We don't know why his employment ended with MPD.
And as a police chief, can you just speak on him having someone experienced in law enforcement to not be accused of such a heinous crime?
I mean, ideally, as I stated earlier, this patch and this badge represents collaboration and represents the justice that we all stand for. And it does not represent our profession. This is a noble profession. We have men and women that go out in our community every single day, not only to risk their lives, but they look at these type of cases to bring justice for victims. And so these actions do not reflect law enforcement.
Chief, were there similar situations in each one of the cases in Alexandria that you've had, and potentially in the other county as well? Are they related to the MO, or are they related just with the defendant?
So, you know, I don't want to specify MO at each particular case, right? The information that we talked about today is what has been publicly available, not only publicly available information that we can confirm. As we work through these additional cases, MO can change, right? The suspect's actions can change. So I don't want to say that we can confirm in each individual case that they have been consistent. What I can tell you is that, again, as noted by myself and PG County, what we have saw is similarities of him meeting women on dating apps, him taking them out for a date, and then ultimately after drinking they becoming unconscious where he sexually assaulted them.
And would you consider it a serial sexual assault suspect?
You know, at this particular state, yeah, there are multiple, right? And we're continuing to work through that. But again, our focus is really trying to work with victims so they get the justice that they
Chief,
need.
how would you characterize the enormity, potentially the reach of this series of crimes before the start date of 2024? Tacoma Park is charged, Prince George's is charged. We're already about a dozen-ish victims. What's your fear? How would you characterize the whole nature of this?
Yeah, I won't say that we have multiple charges in all jurisdictions as of right now. But what I will tell you is that the most important thing that I don't want to be the focus not to be on, like, it takes collaboration again to get here. What I'm proud of as a chief is the work that the detectives have done, and not only the work that they have done, but as soon as we put that information out, we immediately took him off the streets. And that was through collaboration, that was through the usage of technology here in our community. And again, I don't want to miss the point that as soon as we had probable cause, right, we actively worked and we brought him into custody and took him off the streets.
Right, but he was stealthy. I mean, this could go back a while.
Yes, we're still working through that digital media, but also I think as others come forward, which I hope and pray that they have the courage to do today and in the upcoming future, whether it's through notifying us or working through support groups, that we will continue to work on their behalf.
Chief, can I ask Chief Leitner a similar question
Yeah,
that you were just
absolutely.
asked? Chief Matthew asked Chief here about the fact that this is a former police officer. First thing, does that sting? And secondly, any sense that he used his former position in any way to take advantage of these women?
As Chief McGuire said, I mean, it's counter to what we do, right? All of us in law enforcement to help people, and you have somebody here that's not helping people, or quite the opposite, they're hurting people. It does sting, quite honestly. The second part, we won't be able to speak on that right now. We still have an active investigation. Our cases haven't been indicted. 3 of the 6 have been charged. The other 3 are still waiting to be charged, so we won't be able to speak on that at this time.
Chief McGuire, do you have any sense of whether this, I'm sorry.
Just to clarify, you mentioned 6 survivors in your jurisdiction and at least 4 cases, right, Chief, here? So is there at least 10 survivors that we know of right now? Is that accurate to say?
Yeah, that'd be safe to say, yes.
Okay, thank you.
And Chief McGuire, the same question to you. Has your victim who has come forward said anything about knowing that this man was once a police officer? Was that used in any way in his alleged crimes?
Yeah, I think that's specific. We don't want to talk about it this point in time. I will tell you again, we learned through the investigative process that he was a former police officer, but I don't think that there's anything that's pointing toward that. But again, there's additional investigative details that we have not confirmed that we're trying to work through.
Okay, last question.
Were any potential victims, what were the dating apps that were used? And whenever you guys did think him in Alexandria, was he here to go to a date or coming from a date?
So the additional dating apps, I can tell you there were multiple dating apps. Our office can work to provide some follow-up information on that. I can tell you that there were dates specifically here in Alexandria, and that is how we're centering those here. But again, we're trying to, as you all can imagine, there's always a significant amount of evidence. We're bringing forth the cases that we can at this specific point in time, and that's all we're going to say about that.
Okay, and I'm going to ask that any follow-up questions be directed to the jurisdiction's Public Information Office, and we will be happy to provide more there. Thank you.
All right,
Thank you
thank
for
you all.
attending.